Ross, the MP for Botany and the 58th National Party member in Parliament, and we're going to do that on March the 5th. And we are 100% behind you, Jami-lee. We believe in him. He's a great young man. He's a winner. He's won 3 elections and we've got to get him to win 4. So I want to thank all of you for tuning up. I want to thank you for your support and for trying hard. You know, elections are always hard fought, even in a seat where you're expected to win. For national, this is a place where we did extremely well in 2008, but we've got to get the voters to come out in 2011. We can't take anything for granted. We've got a by-election on March the 5th, we've got a general election on November the 26th, and they're critical parts of what's going to happen out here in Botany. So, as Jami-lee said, we've just been down at the Botany Town Centre. That's my 2nd time I've been here in the last few weeks, and I'll be here another 2 times before the by-election, and that's because I'm 100% committed behind Jami-lee. I want to see him win. I know he'll do a fantastic job, and I know he'll be a great advocate for this community, as he has been for the last 6 years. This is going to be an interesting time for us because I think the country is starting to show that it's coming out of the recession. It's been a tough time for New Zealanders in the last 3 years. You know, the economy pretty hard on New Zealand and around the rest of the world. So when we came in, we inherited a whole lot of promises that the Labour Party hadn't quite worked out how they were going to fund. A decade of deficit. Somebody read, I know why red's their favourite colour, that's the way they left the books, by the way. You know, it has been a very difficult set of circumstances to inherit, but we're starting to see the economy really showing some signs coming through that now. And I think we're in for a very exciting 12 months. We've got the Rugby World Cup obviously here in New Zealand, and that's going to run for the better part of 6 weeks. It will be a huge event. It's the largest sporting event New Zealand has ever hosted. There will be 85,000 plus people in New Zealand, most of them congregating here for the final, of course. We're going to have over 1 billion people watching the Football World Cup, and it will have a big impact on our economy. If you go back and have a look at what happened when the Lions were here, it added about 1.6% to that quarter's growth. So we've got a lot of things happening in the course of the next 12 months. And what we want to do is continue to do things we've done in the last couple of years. And that is recognise that actually New Zealand needs to change. We just can't keep borrowing money from people from overseas and spending it like it's our own, because eventually we've got to pay that back. New Zealand cannot turn into another Ireland or another Greece or another Spain or another Portugal. It's got to be a much stronger country and a much stronger economy. And that means we will be making changes. There will be reform of the welfare system so that we don't have 220,000 children in benefit-based homes. That we don't have 360,000 New Zealanders of working age on a benefit. We've got to make sure that the public service is a leaner, more efficient organisation so it serves you well, but doesn't cost you a fortune to run. We've got to make sure that the money we spend is on the frontline services that New Zealanders want. And if you look at what we've been doing around those in the bureaucracy and the health system as an example, we've reduced the number of people that are in the bureaucracy and DHBs, we've virtually halved the number of PHOs, we've reduced the bureaucracy in the Ministry of Health, and in the DHBs alone we've hired 500 nurses and doctors. And that's what putting money into frontline services means. This year we are going to spend about a quarter of what Michael Cullen used to spend every year for the last 5 years. You know that no sign that Winston Peters holds up all the time? Well, that's the one Bill English now holds up when you go and ask him for money. And that's because he doesn't have any money to spend. But the reason we're doing that is we need to make sure that we balance our books. We need to get back into surplus faster. We need to make sure that people from overseas will continue to lend us money until we save more of our own. And we need to make sure that we have a go-ahead economy so that in years to come, future generations aren't paying back enormous amounts of debt. I'm actually very proud of what the government's achieved in the last couple of years. We campaigned on some very critical issues, as Jami-lee mentioned, on making the economy stronger, on making sure that we made our communities safer, on making sure that we lifted education standards, and we made sure that our health system was working properly. And through all of that, we've stayed extremely committed to those issues that matter. You know, that's where our focus of attention has been, not on a whole bunch of other things, but on the things that really matter to New Zealanders. And so I go into both the by-election and the general election feeling very confident about the performance of our team. We've had an extremely united team,
and they've been working to one single cause, and that is to make New Zealand a better country with a brighter future. We've got a great team in Parliament. It's great to see Maurice Williamson. He is doing a tremendous job for the people of Pakuranga. Most of your constituents are next door and they've been playing golf. So they did invite me in for a beer, which I thought was a good sign. So they're in good hearts, doing a tremendous job. And look, as I said to you earlier, every election is hard fought. Every vote, you've got to earn those votes. And we know that more than anyone else. We don't take any vote for granted. We don't take anyone for granted. We certainly don't take any seats for granted. So if you can do one thing for jami-lee, make sure that you go to your neighbours, make sure you go to your friends, make sure you go to your grandchildren or children, anyone that can vote for Jami-lee Ross, and get them out there to vote for him. Because we need to deliver him a great victory on March the 5th and set him up to be a very long-term and I believe highly successful Member of Parliament for Botany. And most of all, we've got to go into the election in November of 26, I think proudly presenting our record. Because I'll tell you what I hear from our friends in the Labour Party, complaining. We haven't heard any promise yet, other than promises with money they don't have. They are the only things we've heard. No solutions to the country's problems, no recognition that the world is a very different place to what it was, no comprehension at all that we actually have to do more with less money. Just complaining. And I think what elections are ultimately all about are solutions. Not arguing what the problems are. I think we can see what those issues and challenges are. They'll always be there to a certain degree. But it's actually coming up with solutions. And when I look at 1 in 3 Maori boys leaving school without even NCA level 1, when I see 1 in 5 young New Zealanders leaving school when they can't read and write properly, then I know we're on the right track with national standards. When I see a situation where we've got too many people going to prison, I know that we've actually got to go and deal with those issues. And that's the serious issues of drugs that are in our community. Today, the police have just made a major drug bust. Morris's people in customs have been doing a tremendous job. He'll tell you about the huge amount of methamphetamine that we've taken off the market in the last 12 months or so since we've been very focused on it. But in the end, drugs lead to very bad outcomes for our people. And that's when I say we're focused on what we do is important. The other thing I think that we can be very proud of is that we inherited very difficult conditions and we've kept our word. In the end, what we said we'd do in 2008, we've done. What we campaigned on, we've stayed committed to. And we haven't come up with a whole lot of surprises to people, but we have come up with genuine solutions to our problems. And as I said to you, in the course of the next few months, you're going to see us fleshing out more of our policies as we go to things like the mixed ownership model that we want to have in some of our state assets, as you see us reforming the welfare system, as you see us reducing the bureaucracy, as you see us delivering a tax system that's going to deliver for you. And one thing I'll tell you about the people of Botany, they represent modern New Zealand. They're a multicultural society, they work hard, they're ambitious, and they just want to go to get ahead. That's what they want to do. And these are, in the final analysis, the simple choice that New Zealanders will have both on March the 5th and on November the 26th. Do you want a Labour, Greens, New Zealand First government that will deliver... No, neither do I. Do you want a government in the form of Labour, the Greens and New Zealand First that will deliver you a very high top personal rate, a capital gains tax, an extensive emissions trading scheme and a whole lot of unfunded promises from Winston Peters? Or do you want a government that's actually going to give people a chance to be rewarded for their hard work, that's going to run an economy properly and sensibly and within our means and make sure that future generations can see a big future for our country? I actually think the record stands for itself, and I think come March the 6th we are going to have the next MP for Botany sitting right behind me, contributing to that team in Parliament. And he is going to then realise how hard MPs work. He's going to work his guts out. Lucy, get that billboard that's sitting outside and put it up in the lounge, because that's the next time you see him, he'll look a lot older than he currently does. He'll probably go slightly grey, and one note to self, don't let him die as here. On that happy note, Jami-lee, we wish you all the very best. It's our privilege to declare your campaign fully open. Everyone get in 100% behind him. Let's get him over the line with a big majority.